Following the clash between SpaceX and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, the space company has seen a setback in its accomplishments, especially with the Starship. However, Texas as a state has taken the bold move of backing up SpaceX for its 5th test flight of the Starship and many more future missions. The FAA is the enemy. But what exactly has Texas done to back up SpaceX, and how would this help the US state and SpaceX in its journey through space? Join me today as we explore the partnership between Texas and SpaceX. But before we continue, welcome to the Space Minds channel. Please do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Space Minds. I'd like to make sure that you're updated on all the latest space news and adventures. It's no news that the people of Texas have always been behind SpaceX, providing everything necessary for its development. For example, in the construction of the Starbase, SpaceX's American headquarters, which happened about a decade ago, Texas landowners willingly offered their lands for the projects, though at a good price. In 2014, the Texas government granted a decade-long property tax reduction for the space company, as long as it built its spaceport within Texas. While you might think this is a huge revenue loss for SpaceX, wait until you hear how Texas has benefited in return. In the construction of the 2.3-acre Stargate tracking facility in Texas, SpaceX collaborated with the Brownsville Economic Development Council, BEDC, alongside the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Believe it or not, Texas is all for SpaceX. Now, considering the FAA-induced delay, if that's what we should call it, of the Starship's 5th flight, Texas officials have come out in support of the space company. Opposition has emerged regarding the FAA's decision over SpaceX and its Starship flight. Congressman Keith Self in the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, representing Texas's 3rd District, wrote to the FAA boss Michael Whitaker, strongly encouraging him to properly address the FAA's extremely strict disapproval of SpaceX due to environmental reviews of the space company's operations in Texas. You might recall that aside the FAA's anger over 2 of SpaceX's launches in 2023, the Regulatory Institute is also heavily concerned about the environmental effects of the launches of SpaceX's rockets in Texas. While some environmental safety agencies have joined hands with the FAA to oppose SpaceX, Texas itself has stood up to support SpaceX. It expresses quite clearly that all claims that the space company is polluting the environment with each launch are extremely absurd. In more detail, it explained that SpaceX may by far be the only space company that uses reusable rockets on the launch platform, with most of the other space companies disposing of their scraps and potentially toxic fuels into the ocean. So what exactly are the environmental safety agencies and the FAA driving at with their complaints against SpaceX? For one thing, the SpaceX launch site in Texas is a bit close to areas with protected wildlife. While there are still debates on the effects of these launches on these areas, the space company decided to move its launches to sea. Yes, SpaceX plans to perform its liftoffs and landings on a water-based platform. Even the Super Heavy is planned to land on sea. Sadly, we might be giving up its catching technique with the Mechazilla towers. That was pretty advanced if you ask me. Anyway, on the Texas support, the congressman went on to say, "Our nation must maintain our commitment to leading the world in the responsible and constructive use of space through an innovative commercial industry, and the US leadership in this area is dependent on an agile, efficient regulatory system that promotes and enables commercial innovation." Let me do a bit of explanation here. Research shows that America is rated number 1 in the international space business. And what company puts the US in that position? Well, it's SpaceX. If the FAA decides to continue its clash with SpaceX, not only would it lose financially, America will lose its face in the space business. Okay, that's definitely worse. If you don't believe this, understand that China's space program is rapidly growing, using a self-made blueprint of projects similar to that of SpaceX. Trust me, America will fall really hard if the FAA doesn't act fast. Additionally, Congressman Keith publicly criticized the FAA on behalf of Texas and of SpaceX, pointing out that its extremely slow processing of licenses is undermining the progress of the US space sector. He added that the FAA seems to have been swayed by unnecessary concerns of environmental safety, despite that its own review indicated that an increase in the frequency of SpaceX launches would do no harm to the environment. In other words, why complain about environmental safety if you've already claimed that the launches were safe? Aside from Congressman Keith Self, the newly elected mayor of Brownsville, John Cowan, also supports SpaceX and described the Starship's launch as the most reputable program in the region. He also called the company a great partner of Texas, with which he shares open lines of communication and a productive and open relationship. Cowan, as well as Congressman Keith, added that the Texas community is ready to help SpaceX achieve more launches with the Starship annually, and are pleased with the development of the space company so far. Texas is definitely as strong an opposition to the FAA as it is a supporter of SpaceX. How does Texas benefit from this partnership? With SpaceX and Texas shaking hands in partnership, Texas state has gained quite a lot even up until today. Before the Starbase was built in Brownsville, Texas, the city was basically the poorest in the US. Real heartbreaking news for Texas officials at the time. However, currently, this same Brownsville city has the highest economic mobility growth among all other cities of America, owing largely to SpaceX's contributions and projects. According to an economic report of 2023, SpaceX has made a total investment of $430 million in Cameron County, Texas, where Starbase is located. These investments include wages, constructions, and capital improvements in Starbase and within the Brownsville city. In 2022, the SpaceX company added almost $1 billion to the total economic output of Cameron County, while also providing several job opportunities within the area. Former Mayor Trey Mendez expressed his happiness at the space company, stating that it is the city's main employer with around 1,600 employees, 71% being from the Rio Grande Valley. This probably was the best thing for Texas because before SpaceX's arrival, the state produced quite a lot of individuals to join its workforce. However, there was very little space for new employees, and the economic growth of the region was almost as slow as a snail. In March 30th, 2021, Elon tweeted what we might describe as an unofficial vacancy post, stating that people within Texas and beyond should consider moving to the Starbase or to Brownsville, as the company's need for engineers, technicians, builders, and essential support personnel were increasing rapidly. Around that time in 2021, Elon Musk also announced that he and his space company SpaceX donated $20 million to schools in Cameron County to help improve its education system. That doesn't come easily. It was almost like a miracle. He also noted that with the donation and more to come, he hopes that the labor force within the county and Texas would be of high quality and would easily make the wise decision of helping SpaceX and all other companies within Texas. Aside the jobs and educational contributions, SpaceX provides fat salaries to its workers, thus giving the Texas residents who constitute a large portion of its employees a great opportunity to improve their standard of living. This doesn't just work for SpaceX's employees only. The great financial improvement in Texas has made other companies within the state to easily increase the amounts paid out to their workers. This is what we'll call the ripple effect of SpaceX. How about Texas's tourism sector? Tourism in Texas has witnessed a massive uprising since the Starbase establishment, with many SpaceX enthusiasts gathering to watch its shuttles lift off the launch pad. There are an estimated 15,000 visitors who come to visit Texas monthly just to watch the rockets go off the Boca Chica launch site. That's around 180,000 tourists annually. We haven't even spoken about huge events like the Starship's launch, which attracts a much larger crowd. Imagine the revenue to Texas's tourism sector, the increased income made by restaurants, hotels, and other services in Texas. That's a whole lot. In fact, it has been reported that a lot of these services in Texas have made massive improvements and even opened up more branches since the Starbase development, owing to the massive influx of tourists annually. It's been a decade of achievements for them indeed. With SpaceX's plans on increasing its launches from 2025, we expect that the number of tourists will go up even more, providing quite a lot of income for the Texas government and the local residents within the state. Conclusion: considering the good partnership between Texas and SpaceX and what parties stand to gain from each other, it is really easy to see why the state and its officials are waving a thumbs up to SpaceX for the Starship's development and for its future launches. Cowan, the new mayor, has commented on the symbiotic relationship between SpaceX and Brownsville, stating he really appreciates the relationship and hopes the city could do even more for SpaceX. Let's hope the FAA reconsiders its actions and sees how much damage it will be doing to SpaceX, Texas, and even to America if it goes on with its allegations against the space company. We also pray that Texas and SpaceX keep up their partnership, as it is not only doing wonders for both sides, but also for America. We hope to see the Starship flying soon, so FAA, please make it happen. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel for the newest updates on all my space adventures.